Hey, this is Andrew with Digital Trends, taking a quick look at the BlackBerry Torch 9810. This is one of 3 Torch brand devices that Research in Motion released this August. The 9850 and 9860 are both full touchscreen devices, whereas the 9810 is, of course, a slider with a full physical keyboard. So you get both the touchscreen benefits and the benefits of a full physical keyboard here. So kind of the best of both worlds, or some would say the not quite best of either world. But at the same time, you know, you get both, and that's what makes the BlackBerry unique. For the most part, this is actually almost identical to the design of the Torch 9800 from last year. Really, the only cosmetic difference is the silver backplate, which is different than the black backplate that was on the 9800 from last year. In terms of the display, this is where the real upgrades come in, and we have a 640 by 480 resolution on the 9810 versus the 360 by 480 resolution of the 9800 from last year. So quite a bit better pixel density on the 9810, and we have to say overall the screen is excellent. It's fast, responsive, really bright, easy to see in sunlight. The only downside really is the size. 3.2 inches, like I said, isn't quite big enough for some people, and certainly not going to be winning any awards when compared to the 4.65 inch screen of the new Samsung Galaxy Nexus, or even some of the other slightly smaller devices, but with the screens bigger than 4 inches. Even compared to the iPhone 4, which I have here, you can see it's still a little bit different in size. Just 0.3 inches makes kind of a big difference when you're using the apps and everything like that. You can see the icons are quite a bit smaller. BlackBerry OS 7 takes up quite a bit of space up here with the notification bar and the time and everything like that. So even though the screen is small, they don't even make very good use of it. In terms of internals, you've got the 1.2 gigahertz single-core processor with 768 megabytes of RAM. So not too bad. Definitely, if you're upgrading from an older device, you're going to find this one to be pretty snappy. And but it's not going to be the total computing powerhouse that you're going to get with some of the newest super phones. As I mentioned, the Galaxy S2, the iPhone 4S. These kind of devices are definitely going to give you a lot more computing power, a lot more oomph for your money than you'll get with the 9810. At the same time, we did find the device overall quick, responsive, really no lag, and not too much to complain about. It's definitely it's solid for what you're getting here, and considering the device came out in August, it's not surprising that they have the single core in there, as dual core didn't really become commonplace until a little bit later on. So next up is the BlackBerry OS 7. As I mentioned, the design is a little bit, doesn't exactly take advantage of the full touch screen here. They waste quite a lot of space at the top with things like time and notifications, things like that. You're going to have a little bit better functionality with OS 7 than you do with OS 6, and anybody who is a former OS 6 BlackBerry user is certainly going to be happy with the polish that you get with OS 7. That said, compared to the newest iterations of Android and iOS and even Windows Phone, they are all far superior to the BlackBerry OS. Everything about OS 7 still feels pretty antiquated. It's overly complicated, and yet just feels simple compared to the flashier, more polished OSs from other companies. So this is really one of the things that BlackBerry needs to fix in order to get its game up to par and start really competing again, is to have a really fresh new operating system, and OS 7 certainly isn't that. We know they've got some things in the works. We're certainly hoping that they move in the right direction with that. On the things that they did right with OS 7 is the Webkit Browser, which it's a little difficult to see here. I am visiting Reddit right now, and it's, you know, this is a low volume website here, not too many images or anything like that, but you can see that the browser scrolls pretty easily, and you can, you know, pinch to zoom. All that stuff works very well. It's a little bit difficult to select websites and links. I found you have to hit things just right in order for them to go, and I'm not even exactly sure what gets one thing to go and one to not go. Right now we're loading Politico.com, so we can see how this loads, and this is without Wi-Fi. This is just on AT&T's HSPA Plus network. So no, not too bad. Zooms well. Overall, the browser is one of the best parts about OS 7. Another pretty solid feature is the notifications. You get a notification bar at the top, and you can see all types of messages up there. They've included Facebook and Twitter apps, which work pretty well. Those messages show up on the notification bar. The only downside really is that you can only see the notification bar when you're on the home screen. If you're in an app, you only know that you've received a new message with the red blinking light that's up here. It doesn't seem to be blinking at the moment, but when that is blinking, that is what is going to be your only real indication that you have a new message. So, you know, and again, comparing that to Android or iOS 5, it's definitely not, you know, exactly the most user-friendly way to do things, but that's how it is on here. This brings us to the last thing I will say about OS 7 and BlackBerry's operating system in general, or this is more about the ecosystem, which is App World, BlackBerry's Android or app marketplace. So App World, I don't even know how a nice way to say this. It's really very terrible. It's not. There's nothing good I can say about App World. The organization is confusing. There's too few apps. The apps that are in there are not particularly good. You're going to have some, you know, okay apps. You have Facebook, you have Twitter, which both already come installed. You have Pandora, you have Angry Birds, things like that. But there's also a lot of Angry Birds ripoffs, Fruit Ninja ripoffs, and there's only, I think, one Google app on there. So just in terms of third-party apps, you're really missing out with BlackBerry's App World. Camera and video, you've got the quick access camera button on the side here, which pulls up the camera. Right now I have an image open, but I can go back. Here's the camera here, 5 megapixels, capable of shooting 720p video. Found that it works really well in high light situations, outside sunlight works really well, low light not so much. You do have an LED flash, and it does have autofocus, but once again, this is not the highest level of camera phone out there. It's not bad. Cameras, the pictures are okay, but you're certainly not going to replace your point and shoot with this camera, as you might be able to do with some of the newer generation devices. In terms of calls and data, calls worked excellently, even when I only had 1 or 2 bars on AT&T's network. They definitely still went through well and didn't drop a single call, which is both a testament to the BlackBerry 9810 as well as AT&T's network there. So it's a little bit surprising considering the reputation AT&T has, but what can you say? In terms of data, this is marketed as a 4G device. By that they mean it has maximum download capacity of 14.4 megabits per second, which is what AT&T's HSPA Plus network is. So that's slower than T-Mobile's enhanced HSPA Plus network, which is around 21 megabits per second, and definitely slower than Verizon's LTE network or even Sprint's WiMAX network. Overall, I found that I was getting about 5 megabits per second downloads, so that's pretty average for AT&T, not too bad. In terms of battery, you got the battery behind the back plate, of course, slides off here. Pretty good battery life, lasts about a day. Not too bad, not too great either. You're going to have to basically charge it every day. Also under the back plate you have the micro SD slot. You can go up to 32, you expand up to 32 gigabytes. It comes with 8 gigabytes of internal storage, which is up from the 4 gigabytes from last year. So that's about all we have with the Torch 9810. In general, it's a solid BlackBerry. People are gonna like the device. It's got pretty good construction. I think that it's not something you're going to want to get if you definitely want the touchscreen only. Definitely go with a touchscreen only device for that, but otherwise if you really want the physical keyboard, that's the primary reason to go with this device. And for $50 with a 2-year contract, not too bad. But when you can get an iPhone 4 for $100, maybe it's worth spending a little extra money, unless of course the physical keyboard is your primary objective in purchasing a new phone. But just remember, 2 years is a long time, and we've got a long way. We're going to go a long way in the next 2 years. So whether or not you want to be stuck with this one for the next 2 years is up to you. I certainly know that that's not where I want to be in 2 years. So there you go, BlackBerry Torch 9810.